Hey guys, this Litter Magic here, and it's time to finally cover one of the videos that people have been requesting for quite a while in the comment section and on Twitter. A lot of people ask me how I determine what the average value or profitability of a set is based on, per box, per booster, however you want to measure it. And I have a very particular way to do it that I don't think I've seen anybody else do. Probably because it's a little weird. There are probably multiple ways to do it. I'm not saying this is the way or that this is the source to get good prices, but it works and I do it. So what you want to do is go over to cardkingdom.com, and it has to be in Firefox. I know it won't work with Internet Explorer 11. Nothing works with Edge. And it probably wouldn't work with Chrome, but I'm not 100% sure. But you should be using Firefox anyway. I'm sure that won't start a storm in the comment section. So go on over to cardkingdom.com, and you want to click on whatever set you want. So usually the recent ones are here in the background, and then everything is listed on the left. So I'll just use Shadows as an example to, demonstrate how bad Shadows is. So then click on Mythic here to start out, so it'll only show you the Mythics. Now, if it's in some weird view, you want to go to Text View, not Gallery View or Detail View up in the top right. So then what you want to do is go to the left of the very first entry and drag all the way down to the right of the very last entry. Then right-click and hit Copy. You have now copied the contents of the HTML table as well as the table cell dividers, which is how specifically Firefox copies it. So that's where the browser differences come in. Next, you want to have LibreOffice installed. I don't think that this works with Excel, but I'm not 100% sure. Some of the later versions might work, but LibreOffice is free anyway. Now, it'll probably work with OpenOffice, but if you know the difference between the two, one's owned by Oracle and one's owned by the original designers who hate Oracle, you really want to be on the LibreOffice side of things. You don't want to be seen as supporting a corporate overlord that tried to do bad things to the project, basically. Not that I'm that invested into it. Anyway, so you go over to LibreOffice, and then right-click in cell A1 here in the top left, then go down to Paste Special. And then it'll ask you, do you want to paste in the actual HTML, or do you want to do it as unformatted text, and it will convert it. Definitely unformatted text. It will freeze up for a long time if you hit HTML while it tries to download little icons and render it all. So once you hit OK, it'll say, well, how do you want to, split it and all that stuff. Basically, it's all, HTML, so the whole thing is pointless. It's not even technically tab delimited. But yeah, this is exactly the settings you want by default. So you hit OK, and there it all is. So now what you can do is take B, C, D, E, F, G, and H and just delete them all. You just highlight them and hit the delete key. You can double click on a row to auto size it, in case you didn't know that. That's in all versions of Excel and everything. Then I would take this one and Control X for cut, and then Control V to paste over here. So basic Windows commands. And then the one thing you want to watch out for is any kind of additional line, additional prices, like Card Kingdom always does, like damage cards are slightly less. I didn't see any of them in here though. Either that or actually I think there was one and I already deleted it by getting rid of the other columns. If you want to make it look neat, you can you can select blank rows, right click, and then delete selected rows. So now I got this neat tidy little list of Mythics. So I bet you know what comes next. You go back to Firefox and then click on Rare. Now, if this number right here is above 50, you're going to want to go to page 2 and do this twice. So, copy everything, and while you're dragging, you can use the mouse wheel, of course. So once you get down to that very last little price, you right-click, hit copy again. Then, of course, go back to LibreOffice and right-click, do the exact same thing again, paste special, unformatted text, OK, and OK. Then you want to get rid of all the data in here about availability and rarity and all that stuff, whatever it all is. And then move the stuff over. You can get rid of the blank lines if you want it to look pretty, but it won't actually affect the result. Blank lines are not calculated as zeros because this program's pretty smart. So, as you can see, it stopped at S. So what I want to do is obviously go get the remaining 9 entries. So basically you just repeat the exact same thing, go copy them again once you hit, next page on the bottom. And there we go. Get rid of these columns. Whoops, missed one. And then move these over. Now you've got a full list of rares and their prices. Technically you don't even need the names. I just like to reference it. So The next step is a bit weird. This is where, if you heard me talking on Twitter about a deep mathematical paradox that we couldn't figure out, we finally figured out the way to do it. If you're interested, I'll get into it in the comments section, but it'll just make your head hurt because I used to be a college math tutor. I feel like I probably should have been able to figure this out a little bit easier since it's basic math, but, you know, probability and distribution, not really my thing. But what you want to do is grab the entire rare department here, and then hit right-click, copy, or Control-C, and then this time you can just straight up paste it. Just normal paste it, because it's already just text formatted. Didn't maintain any of that HTML once they stripped it off. So now you've got the rares again, and then the mythics. So, right here at the top, you're going to want to hit equals, and then the word average, and then the left parenthesis. Now, once you've done the left parenthesis, you're allowed to draw. So you get the little purple box here. Just keep dragging down the entire column. Boy, this is going mighty slow while I'm recording it. Come on. Come on. Come on. There it is. And once you've got it selected, it will actually show B1 through B139, which you really could have just typed. Then immediately type the right parenthesis and then hit enter. Look at that. The average price of the card in the rare or mythic slot, so the rare slot in the booster, is worth $2.63. So why didn't we just take all of the rares and do the average, take all the mythics, do the average, multiply the rare average by 2, add it to the mythic, and divide by 3. Apparently that's not the right way to do it. So I guess I am explaining the math paradox after all, and your head probably hurts. Don't think too hard about why that is. Basically, every individual card is printed twice on the sheet for every one instance of an individual card that's mythic, so you do literally need to represent it twice, and that's why that doesn't work. And you get a drastically different number, and I mean drastic, like we're talking 40% higher usually if you do it the wrong way, which appears to make sense. So, if you're real clever, you can right-click Format Cells, and then drag it off of monitor 1 where it rendered, go to currency, and then hit OK. Look at that, it has a $sign. Wow. Now, the cool thing about formulas is that they actually update in real time. So if Mindrak Demon suddenly hit $300, look what that does to the average. Just one $300 card, which is why with Modern Masters, if you pulled a Tarmogoyf, you were going to make money. If you didn't, you were going to lose money. It's just that high of a variance. As soon as I just delete it, it goes back down to 262. So it's like you either pull a mind rack or you don't. Let me just undo that, $2.99. Now, one thing that I like to do because I sell on eBay is any card below, or I should say $1.99 or lower, including $1.99, gets set to 0 because it's just not cost effective to ship it. So I just go through 0, 0, 0. You can see the numbers probably dropping as I do it. Oops. It would help if I didn't miss a bunch. So this late into the season, it's a pretty sad state. I'm not actually going to do them all, but this would probably hit about $2. So what you can do now is go equals and then parenthesis, and then you can just click and say, hey, D6, which is the cell that it is in, then asterisk for multiplication, and then 36, and then right parenthesis and enter. So that is what a box is worth. And usually I'll actually type what it is, like the description over here. So that's the average, that's the box. Now, what you can do over in these columns over here is the foil prices. So you can go back and grab the foil prices, and let's say the average foil value is $8.52. What you would want to do before you add this to the average here is divide it by 4, because there is exactly a 1 in 4 chance that you will pull a foil. Trust me, I've done it on a large scale. It is confirmed. That is how many foils you would pull out of 50,000 cards. So you want to go equals, parenthesis, that field, and then the little slash for division, and then 4. So this is how much the average foil is worth. This is how much the average booster is worth, considering that only 1 in 4 has the foil. So hopefully that makes sense to you. And then what you would do is say total booster value. Whoops. So glad I zoomed in on this program. It's messing with me. And then go, whoops, equals left parenthesis, this field, obviously the plus sign, and then that field. enter. So the total booster value is actually $4.62. I feel like that $8.52 is probably a little bit high. Now the other thing is, I totally forgot to mention this. You're probably going to want to only grab the mythics and the rares. Because a foil common and a foil uncommon is usually so far off the radar. I mean, there are obviously exceptions. Like a foil reflector mage is probably $5-6. Actually, there were quite a few that were $4-6 in shadows. Not right now. But if you ignore them, then your estimate will just be a hair low. So then you're being a little pessimistic, and then you might come out higher. So it's a good thing if you want accurate numbers or realistic numbers, I guess you would say, or whatever. You want it to turn out better than the numbers say. So this number, 852, would obviously represent just the mythic foils and the rare foils. So if you go back to Card Kingdom, you can click on, instead of singles, you click on foils, which makes no sense because they're still singles, whatever. And then you can sub-click on mythic and then rare from there. So you just paste in another table, do it again, get the number. And then what you can do is note that in this set, I think there's 18 mythics and 59... foils, or rares. Let's see. It's 59, 18. I don't usually make it look neat. Oops. You could also do this if you're really lazy. There we go. So 77, and then the total amount in the set was... you guys are going to kill me for this. I don't think that's what it is. We'll just pretend it's 298. And then you go, whoops, equals... this divided by that. So 26% of the cards on the dot in shadows are rares or mythics, and then the rest are uncommons or commons. So what you want to do is also multiply this value. Let's actually move this. So you multiply the value of the average foil, rare, and mythic by that percentage. So then you'll get $2.22. So basically what that says is this is the average price of the foil or mythic. That's the average price of your foil or mythic, considering that you're not always going to get a foil, rare, or mythic. You might get a foil uncommon or common. And then this is the fact that only 1/4 of the boosters have a foil in the first place. Typically, this will be between 50 cents and $1.10. That's usually where it ends up. So, yeah, there's plenty of $30, $40, $50 foils in there, but they're so rare. I mean, you got to basically divide it in 4, then divide it in 4 again. So, you could just do the math completely without the foils and just say, what am I going to get in the box? Because there's only about 9 foils in a box anyway, and then 1/4 of them are rare or mythic. That's like 2. So 2 plus or minus a little bit of, luck, a little bit of variance, you're going to be in big trouble if you don't pull one, basically. So I tend to disregard them except for on huge orders where I know that I'm going to get X amount of foil, rares, and mythics. So for the average person not buying, 20 cases, you're probably just going to want to leave out the foils completely and then cross your fingers and hope you pull a good one anyway. So that's how I do it. That's how all my spreadsheets work. Real simple. Hopefully you can hit favorite on this video so you can reference it the next time a set comes out. And whenever all the spoilers are in and then Card Kingdom posts all of their pre-order prices, that day, like usually that morning, I run one of these and then call my vendor and adjust the order accordingly, which they love it when I do that because I'm like, hey, guess what? This set sucks. Give me less of it. Usually when I say give me more of it, they don't have a problem. So anyway, that is my highly caffeinated quick rundown of how to calculate the average value of a booster box. And when you do the foils, don't forget to duplicate the rares twice. Make sure you weigh them twice because when you hit average, it's still going to be averaged out to the actual price. It's not going to be like, oh, now you're pretending there's too many cards in the set. That's not how it works. So if anybody has a slicker way to do this or a website that's, I don't know, friendlier to pasting or something, let me know. Otherwise, thumbs up if you enjoyed the video and definitely subscribe for even more awesomeness. Like great tips on how to play, how to make money, how to invest, what cards are going up. I always post stuff like that, especially with the new sets. So watch for that when Eldritch Moon comes out, and I'll see you guys next video.